Hello and welcome to Yoga with Elizabeth. One of the main reasons why people think they can't do yoga is because they are not flexible enough. But that is the very point of yoga, to help increase your flexibility, and then helps to maintain it as you age. So whether you are new to yoga or you just like to improve or increase your flexibility, then please join me in this short practice. Don't worry about how flexible or inflexible you may be today. Obviously, if you continue to practice some of these stretches, then flexibility will naturally increase. We are going to start today standing on our mat. So if we make our way towards the top edge of your mat, planting your feet underneath your hips, keeping your gaze forward and your shoulders soft. Now we can close the eyes if you want to, just at the beginning of the practice, so that we can focus on how we are breathing and also where we carry our weight underneath our feet. And obviously by closing the eyes, we draw that focus in a little bit, so we are more aware of both the breath and how our physical body is feeling today. As we take that breath in through the nose, we keep the shoulders soft, maybe feeling the belly inflate as we draw the breath in. And then as we exhale, allow the breath to return the same way out through the nose. And just feeling your body relax a little bit more with your out breath, your fingertips reaching towards the floor, drawing your shoulders down, your shoulder blades are drawn back and down as well. So you can wiggle your toes, you can even, probably with your eyes open, maybe come onto your toes, lifting your heels, coming onto your heels and lifting your toes, just finding that weight underneath your feet, underneath your right foot and your left foot. And all we're going to do from here is just draw the arms behind us. So our little fingers are facing down and towards the back of the mat. So we're just drawing the arms behind us, trying to maintain that length through the body, softening through the jaw. So don't clench your jaw or hold onto your breath in any way. So just draw the arms behind. And then from here, we're going to turn our palms up towards the ceiling. So still drawing the fingertips backwards and up, but just rotating through the wrists, turning the arms a different way, just so you're feeling that stretch in different parts of the upper body. From the palms facing upwards, we're going to rotate so the palms face down. Again, just seeing how far behind us we can take the arms without force, without too much strain, trying to keep the shoulders soft so we're not reaching them up to the ears in an effort to get the hands a little bit higher. Excellent. Maybe we can interlace the fingers here. And this time we're going to draw the knuckles down towards the floor. So you don't have to make any effort to draw them up. Just take those knuckles down towards the floor, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Finding that slow, steady breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And on your next inhale, we're just going to bring the hands forward and take them towards our heart, pressing one hand into the other. So you can feel the muscles of your arms waking up a little bit here, but always keeping relaxation through the shoulders and the upper body. Taking our hands now onto the tops of the thighs, onto these hip creases. Let's have a soft bend in the knees. We are going to extend forward. I'm not going to say fold, because when you fold, people tend to round through the spine. We want to keep length through the spine as we just extend forward. So we're pushing the bottom out, keeping that soft bend in the knees, and just coming maybe halfway here. If halfway is too much, just come a quarter of the way forward. Hold this posture, maintain the breath, and then on your next exhale, bend the knees a little bit more if you need to, extend and lengthen forward slightly further. If it helps, you can maybe slide the hands down the legs. We're going to move with the breath. So if you take your next exhale, again, bend the knees if you need to see if we can get the fingertips towards the floor. Now these knees can be bent quite substantially to reach the fingertips to the floor. And if the floor is still quite a long way away, we can use a block or a shoebox to rest the hands or the fingertips on here. Now, all we are going to do is see if we can lift the hips up, let the head feel heavy, and then bend the knees again. Only lifting the hips up and lengthening through the back of the legs as far as feels comfortable. We don't want to strain, we don't want to push. We're just lifting up and lowering down, finding some length through the back of the legs. Slow, controlled, steady movements here. Resting your hands on that block, on that shoebox, or on the floor. Last time, lifting those hips up and then bringing that substantial bend back into your knees to take your hands fully flat to the floor and stepping 1 foot, 2 feet back into a plank position, squeezing through your glutes, squeezing your abdomen as well, lifting your belly and button up towards the spine and keeping that gaze towards the earth. Drop the knees to the floor and just push the bottom back towards the heels. Doesn't have to come too far if that's uncomfortable. If your body doesn't work in that way, just come back a little way. You might be a little bit more flexible in this position. You might be able to reach a little bit further. But just move your body so you can come backwards, you can come forwards, and find a position where you feel you can hold it comfortably for a couple of breaths. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose here. As we work our way back onto all fours, taking our wrists underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet to the floor. And as we take a breath in, so we lift the tailbone, drop the belly, and just lift the gaze slightly. And as we exhale, we round through the spine, turning it the opposite way, tucking that chin towards the chest. 2 more times here, bringing some mobility into the back of our body. Exhale. Last time, we inhale. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, sending that spine up towards the ceiling. Keeping that round through the spine, we are going to tuck our toes, hover the knees off the mat, and then lift the hips up and backwards into a downward facing dog. Planting the feet wherever feels comfortable. We can be on the balls of the feet. We don't need to force our heels to the earth. In our downward dog, we are trying to find length through the spine. So sometimes if we force the heels to the floor, we bring more of a curve into the back. But if we stay on the toes, and if we have a bend in the knees, we can push the earth away with our hands. We can lift the hips so we can find that length. We don't have to stay still. We can bend one knee and lower the opposite heel to the floor. It's always easier to straighten one leg when the opposite leg is bent. So give it a go. Bend one knee, lower the opposite heel. A few times here, always trying to be very conscious of lifting the hips towards the ceiling though, to find that length in the spine. Let the head feel heavy, so give it a little bit of a shake if you need to. Obviously, staying in downward dog is a challenge if you're not used to it. So at any point, if you need to come down, maybe sit back on your heels, maybe roll those shoulders, rotate the wrists. So bringing yourself back onto all fours if you've had a little rest, returning into downward facing dog. Let that head feel heavy. Take your feet maybe about hip distance, maybe a bit wider apart. And all we're going to do here, keep that bend in the knees, is walk the hands backwards towards the feet and draw yourself up to standing. It's easier to walk hands back towards the feet rather than feet towards the hands, especially if you're not feeling very bendy. We can always work up to the other way on the mat, but this is an easier way to begin bringing yourself back to a standing position. And then we're going to walk our way to the top of the mat again, lifting the shoulders to the ears, rolling them back and down, and just repeating that sequence again. So we're going to take the hands towards the earth and then bring the arms behind us. So a little stretch through the back of the arms, interlace our fingers here, draw the shoulders back and down, getting that lovely stretch. This time, maybe lifting the knuckles not only down to the earth, but away from the body a little bit as well. Stay here for a breath or two, rooting down through those feet so you can feel your body evenly balanced between one side and the other. Releasing the hands, taking them onto your hip creases, bending into the knees, lengthening the body forward. See where we come to. Beginning to slide the hands down the legs. Bend as much as you need to into those knees to get the fingertips either to the floor or your block or your shoebox. Let that head feel heavy. Bend the knees as much as you want to before stepping 1 foot, 2 feet back into that plank position, giving everything a good old squeeze here. And then we're going to drop to the knees, maybe moving the hands back under the shoulders. Inhale, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest. Exhale, curling the spine the opposite way, coming into that cat-cow. Inhale. Last time we exhale, keep the toes tucked, lift the knees, lift the hips up and backwards, and here we are in our downward facing dog as we bend one knee and lower the opposite heel towards the earth. Even though this is only the second time through this sequence, you might feel your joints feeling a little better, your movements feeling slightly easier, but still not forcing yourself into the position. Allow the yoga to fit your body without squeezing your body to fit into your yoga. We're going to walk the hands backwards once more. As I say, it's a lot easier to come backwards than it is forward. Bring yourself up to standing, whichever way you choose to do so. Work your way to the top of your mat. We are just going to do this one more time, adding on a little extra as well. So we find our balance under our feet. We lift the shoulders, roll them down, interlace the fingers behind us as we open out through the chest, squeezing down through the back of the arms, maybe a little lift of the hands. Nice big breath in as we exhale, returning the hands to the front of the legs, lengthening forward, bending into the knees, keeping the spine long as we extend forward and down towards the earth, taking our hands onto the mat. All we're going to do this time is step back with our left foot. We're going to drop the left knee to the floor and come into this lunge posture. The right knee is over the ankle, and that back foot, we can either have the toes tucked or to the earth. From here, we're going to reach the arms up, sink the hips down, maybe even an opening through the arms here, depending on how tight you feel across your shoulders. This opening out of the arms is really a good stretch if you find yourself bending over a tablet, a computer, a lot of the day. It just opens out the chest, squeezes the shoulder blades together. As we exhale, we take the hands down towards the floor. We step our right foot back to meet our left in a plank position. From our plank position, we're going to lift the hips up and backwards into a downward facing dog. We're going to come onto the other side. Now, this might feel a little bit challenging. We have been walking hands back towards feet. This time, we're going to take our left foot and step it to the top of the mat. Now, if it doesn't come all the way, take your hand behind, give it a helping hand as we drop our right knee to the earth. Find your balance with that left knee over the ankle as we come into our low lunge on this side. Reaching the arms up, dropping the hips to the floor, maybe opening out the arms if that feels a better position for you. Beautiful deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to take the hands down either side of that left foot. Step it back into our plank position. And then from here, drop your knees to the earth. Take the tops of the feet to the floor. And very slowly, with as much control as you can muster, we are going to lower ourselves all the way down onto the floor, onto our tummies. Shift yourself back a little bit if you have run out of mat. And bring your forearms to the earth. Now the elbows are underneath the shoulders, and we are going to keep our gaze just slightly forward at the top of our mat here so that we're not lifting the chin and causing strain in the neck. Squeeze your glute muscles if you want to, and push the earth away through your forearms. So we're getting a little bit of a bend in our spine. And if you can, try and imagine an even curve through that spine as you lengthen forward and push upwards very slightly. If there is any discomfort, then lower yourself onto your forearms a little bit lower, maybe even just resting your head on your arms. You're still getting a slight curve in your back, but you're not, again, forcing your body into a shape that it doesn't want to make. Flexibility takes time to improve, to increase, so take it easy. Rome wasn't built in a day. From here, we are going to work our way into a seated position. So if we just lower ourselves down, gently pushing yourself up any which way you choose, and come into a seated posture on your mat. And talking of flexibility, sitting cross-legged is not a natural position for a lot of people to be in. So if this isn't working for you, then we can sit on our knees, we can sit with our legs in front of us, we can even take a block or a cushion if you want to, and we can sit on that, perching ourselves on this little block, a bit like a toadstool. This has the effect of dropping the knees underneath the hips, and it just makes sitting in a cross-legged position a lot more comfortable. Have a play around with it and just see what works for you. So how are you feeling after that short practice? That introduction to flexibility. The more you practice these postures, the more your body will get used to making these different shapes, and your flexibility will naturally improve. Do check back to this channel soon for another video which will build on all the postures that we have done today. And if you enjoyed this practice, then please do subscribe to my channel, drop me a like, drop me a comment, and I will see you on the mat again soon.